Hello, 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 hello. What's up, everyone? And thank you so much for tuning in. It is Monday, April the 28th, 2025. I got a sinus thing going on. Do I sound nasal?
Again?
Again.
Yeah.
I'm not running fever.
No.
I don't even feel bad. It's just congestion. So this is straight up sinuses here. I know it is. Last time, it might not have been. So, but hey, everyone, thank you so much for joining in. If you would, please bless me by hitting that thumbs up. Okay. It's never a dull moment when it comes to these Democrats. I wonder if someone's ever told them to get somewhere and sit down. Get somewhere and sit down. I mean, has these Democrats ever been told to get somewhere and sit down? Be honest with you, I don't want them to go sit down. I want them to continue doing what they're doing. Because the more that they do, the more that they demonstrate how much they don't care for the American people. They don't. We see it all the time. So, for those of you that were watching this past weekend, if you were on my YouTube channel, and I didn't go to live on Rumble because I need to fix it where I can go live on Rumble, but I went live on my YouTube channel this weekend and at the Tesla event. And of course, this was a different Tesla location here in Texas. I didn't even know this Tesla location existed until this past Saturday. And of course I showed up, and there's a few of the radical liberals that were out there, and some of them see me, some of them I haven't seen before, and they're kind of getting used to me. And when they see me coming, they just tell me, to F off, and they say I'm number one, and all the colorful things, instead of just having a civil conversation, instead of setting me straight. A couple of times I asked them, I said, why don't you just set me straight? Why don't you talk to me and tell me where I'm getting it wrong? But they never do that. They never come and say how I'm getting it wrong. They never do. I got my hot tea from my sinuses here. It feels really good. So President Trump decides to put 100 pictures of hardcore illegal criminals. 100 pictures. And this is on the White House lawn, correct? On the White House lawn, where the press would come out there and they'll set up their cameras and stuff, where they talk to different representatives from the White House. They'll come out there and they talk to the press. So while they're talking to the press, you have all of these pictures, 100 of them, behind them in the background. So no matter what, those images will be there. And of course, how do you think the radical liberals are reacting to it? They're not going. I mean, see, me personally, I'm like, this is horrible. This should not even be something that should have taken place, where we have 100. And then, you know what? This is just 100 of them. President Trump, he could have put more out there, but they want them side by side going down. He could have put more out there, but just like good Democrats, now they're complaining about it, basically. And they don't like the fact that it's right there. They don't want the American people to see it. And you know what? MSDNC, along with the Communist News Network, I guess they could just not cover the White House. But they can't do that. They cannot not do that. Because if they don't cover the White House, they can't go in there and just, try to show the White House and show what's going on there, to try to lie about everything that they're doing. Right? They try to create a visual for people. Listen to this.
White House has put up about 100 posters of what they say are unauthorized immigrants.
Are they saying, is it the White House that's saying unauthorized immigrants? I've never heard President Trump use unauthorized immigrants.
No, that's the Democrats.
Never heard that. You hear? But he's saying that the White House is calling them unauthorized immigrants. I've never heard of that. Let me play it again. Let me play it again for you.
has put up about 100 posters of what they say are unauthorized immigrants
Oh my goodness.
who have been arrested for violent crimes. You can see them there. They put them up on the driveway of the White House. If you look here, that's the West Wing just at the forefront, the executive mansion itself to the left. But what's particularly noteworthy about this location is it is right directly behind the positions where TV correspondents do their hits from the White House lawn. So therefore, no matter what network you're on, that includes MSNBC, if you're doing a hit from the White House right now, those pictures will be behind you. The White House doing a briefing in about a half hour about what they're doing here.
So I guess my question is, are the pictures, are they triggering you? They're more concerned the fact that President Trump has the pictures there than the fact that of the people in the pictures. They're more concerned about the pictures being there. They're more concerned about the pictures being there, not the fact that each and every one of them have committed a crime in the United States of America and they never should have been in America in the first place because they came in illegally. Should have never happened. But they're not concerned about the people in the pictures. They're not concerned about the criminal activity that they've done in the pictures. They're concerned that they're even there. Y'all make it, I mean, you can't make it up. Y'all help me understand. They're upset because the pictures are there, reminding them of who the Democrats are fighting for. All these pictures, all those, oh, look at that. And it's even on the other side. The Democrats are fighting for criminals. They're not fighting for Americans. And the Democrats are demonstrating this. Look at that. And this is a Caroline Levitt. She went around and she recorded this, showing everybody, because, you know, of course, the liberal media news, they won't show you all of them. They're not going to. So she went out there and recorded it. She went out there and recorded it and put it out there. And they're upset because they did this. Really? Really? They're not upset because all of these people did horrible crimes to American citizens. Nope, that's not the issue. That's not the issue. The issue is that they put them out there. Have y'all seen this? Look at this. And as I mentioned a second ago, it's not the fact, for me, it's not the fact that President Trump had them put these pictures out there. And, you know, of course, President Trump didn't go out there himself and put them out there. It's not the fact that he put them out there. It's the fact that he has them in the first place to be able to put them out there. The Democrats are not trying to prevent any of this. And the very fact that the liberal says these are, you know, how do you refer to them?
Unauthorized.
Unauthorized. Thank you so much. This sinus is really jacking me up. The very fact that he's saying that unauthorized on MSDNC, knowing good and well President Trump is not calling them unauthorized. Knowing good and well he's not. You know, all of this comes right along with what's happening with this judge. You know, this judge that was helping the illegal escape ICE custody. All of this comes into play. And now the Democrats are fighting for this judge that actually violated the law. They helped the criminal get away. Let me put it this way. If, let's say, Will Johnson robs a bank and I come to your house and then the cops show up at your house to arrest me, and you say, hey, the cops are here, and you open up the door and you let me run, and then they have to come chase me down, guess what happens to you? What happens to you, Shannon? If the cops come to the door and you open up the door and let me run the other way, what happens to you? And they know that you did it. What happens to you?
I guess I'll get.
There's no guess. You go to jail too.
Yeah.
You get arrested. You get arrested. It's the same thing. And they constantly scream, no one is above the law. They constantly scream it. No one is above the law. Now, I have some more I want to share with you, because all of this, again, they try to act like these judges, these Democrats, they can break the law. And I can't tell you, I like saying that a lot, because I always say it. How many times that I've said that these Democrats, they don't see any issues with them breaking the law. See, if you're a Democrat judge, you can break the law. If you're a Democrat lawyer, if you're a Democrat politician, you're a Democrat sheriff, you're a Democrat, no matter what it is, school board member, whatever it is, if you're a Democrat, you can break the law according to the left because they will look the other way. Why? Because demonic demons will protect demons because they want the demons to continue to do demonic work. This is what it's all about. Now they're all out advocating for this judge that they're saying, remember before they would say, no one's above the law. No one's above the law. No one's above the law. But when it comes to Democrats, they get a pass for breaking the law.
You have the right to get an arrest warrant and you have the right to get a summons. And that they got an arrest warrant for a judge shows that they wanted to make this a spectacle. Last point I want to make is I presented to a grand jury and indicted a state prosecutor. I indicted a prosecutor. And I got a summons because I didn't want to make a spectacle. They made a spectacle of this case.
Well, they announced it on X as well, and then deleted it, but announced it on X.
Why wouldn't you want to make a spectacle of it? I mean, the fact of the matter is, there are liberal Democrat elected officials, not all judges, some are mayors and others, all over this country who have said repeatedly since Donald Trump became the president that they would like to obstruct his principles and his program when it comes to deporting illegal immigrants. Here you have this person. If these facts are proven true, obviously that's exactly what she was trying to do here. Why wouldn't you want to make...
Let me respond to that.
Well, let me... Why? Because...
You asked me a question, let me respond.
Well, let me tell you my view. The
Okay.
spectacle is important because a message has to be sent to everybody else. We're not going to put up... You've been elected by people to uphold the law, and some of the laws that have been most flagrantly violated in this country are immigration laws. You've got to get on board with upholding all the laws, not just...
You know what? Why would you argue that? Why would you argue that? It's because these evil Democrats, they're fighting for this. They're not fighting for you. They're not fighting for you. None of them are coming out fighting for the American people. Look, the last time I seen the Democrats fight for a particular agenda this much, they were fighting to keep their slaves. Does that make sense? They were fighting to keep their slaves, just like they're trying to fight to keep these people in the country. Same thing. Same thing. The Democrat Party, and I don't understand why people still can't grasp it, how these evil Democrats are. They're not fighting for us. They don't care about us. They don't.
Respond, Scott.
Here's the reason.
Okay, Kash Patel is head of the FBI.
You said you had to...
It's an embarrassment.
Let me just respond to something.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow,
sure.
really? Kash Patel, the head of the FBI, is an embarrassment because he's doing his job. Because he had a judge that broke the law arrested. Maybe you should say this to the judges out in the United States of America. Here's some common sense for you. If ICE shows up, just hand them over. If ICE shows up, just hand them over.
Which is that you said, well, you got to worry about the impact on the community.
Yes.
The president and the Justice Department and his people have to worry about the impact of illegal immigration on the country because nobody's been worried about that for years. And the reason this is important is because this is one of Donald Trump's biggest criminal justice priorities. And frankly, it's one of the American people's biggest priorities to control this. And you know well, there are people all over towns, all over this country who have been working overtime to try to stop him from executing on this agenda. If she turns out to be one of them, a spectacle is warranted so other people will stop doing it.
I appreciate, Scott, you saying if she turns out to be one of them, because I
She's
think
doing- she's
it is
doing
very
very
much
important.
something that we will see what happens.
You hear that? I really appreciate, Scott, that you said if. I really appreciate that you said that if she did it. Let's just so I'm to understand the FBI went and arrested this judge. Just if she did it, if she let him go, if she helped the illegal evade ICE, if she did it, know that she was arrested because she actually did it. Because she actually did it. That's the only reason why she was arrested. And see, she loved the fact that Scott Jennings said if, right? And I'm thinking that if she's found guilty, right? Because we still live in a country where you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, except for when it comes to Democrats blaming President Trump or blaming Americans for something. We're just all guilty. For them, we're just guilty. But when it comes for them doing their evil, corrupt, demonic things, completely different story. Completely different story. Ooh, my sinuses are kicking. But I'm not running a fever. I feel great, actually, other than, all this going on up here. I got another one I want to share with you, how these radical Democrats are fighting for these illegals again. And they're fighting for this judge. And this judge she's out of Wisconsin, correct? Is it Wisconsin or is it Milwaukee? Thank you so much. Yeah. She's out of Milwaukee. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Wisconsin, Milwaukee. Well, the Democrats are fighting for her because she allowed one of these illegals to get away from ICE, avoiding ICE. Where's the lawlessness? The lawlessness is coming from those on the left. I don't know how I'm sharing this information with you, and I'm looking at this over the weekend, and just, these people, they just come out there and they're saying all of this radical stuff, and I kind of hope they don't stop. And this is part of what I'm constantly talking about, how we're in a spiritual battle. We've heard this so many times. They keep demonstrating it. I want you to listen to this one. They keep demonstrating, and no one on their side is saying, hey, look, we can't be siding with this judge because this is making us look like we're completely lawless, or we're siding with the criminals. No one is saying that. I mean, I've yet to see it. No one is actually coming out saying that. They're all jumping on board, and I called it. I told Shannon, my producer, I told her last week, as soon as I heard about this story with the judge helping this illegal escape ICE custody, what did I say, Shannon? I said, watch. They're all going to come out there and they're going to rally behind this judge.
You sure did.
They're going to fight for this judge.
You called it, and I was like, really? She's doing wrong. But of course, that's what they do. They support those that aren't doing the right thing.
I said it, without me even seeing any of this footage that I'm getting ready to share with you, like the last one I shared with you, especially this one. And I got another one. I got some more. But without me even seeing any of it, I knew. And I'm going to go on a limb here, and I bet you knew too. I bet you did. I bet you half the people, if not all of you watching right now, saying, yeah, Will Johnson, we knew this already. We knew it too. There might be a couple people that didn't know it. Rightfully so. I mean, Shannon, you were like, when I brought it up, you were like, no, because it's too obvious, right? We're talking about a judge. A judge should have never, if the judge had the illegal criminal in her courtroom because of wrongdoings in the first place, and she knew ICE was there to apprehend him, she should have automatically, bailiff, turn him over and be done with it. Uphold the law. Now, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but to my understanding, these judges that are sitting on these benches, did they not take an oath to defend and protect the Constitution? Uphold the law? Y'all let me know. Y'all let me know. I had the comments here. Y'all let me know. And my producer, she put the comments on the screen too. Y'all let me know. Do judges, or is it just radical leftist judges? They don't have to uphold the law.
But I do know that it was just about Giddy, the Attorney General, when she arrested Judge Dugan, because I think that there was more value in intimidating the judiciary and continuing the assault on our judiciary and pushing the envelope and the edges of what's constitutional and what's separation of powers to its edges.
This is rich coming from them. When they've weaponized the justice system against the American people, Look what they did to President Trump the past, not just 4 years, but the past 8 years. Look what they've done with to President Trump in the justice system. They fraudulently indicted him 4 times. They raided his home. For what? For what? Everything that they raided his home has been like dropped. Jack Beep Smith, y'all know what the beep part is? Jack Beep Smith dropped all of the charges and he got out of Dodge. He's like, oh, President Trump's going back in the White House. I'm getting out. Yo, sorry, Mr. President, I'm out. Jack Smith. Remember Jack Smith? He had a personal vendetta going after President Trump. And Jack Smith, where's he at right now? There should be an indictment against him. They weaponized the justice system against President Trump and the American people, and now they're sitting there saying because President Trump is preventing these corrupt judges from doing this criminal activity. No, now President Trump, he's overstepping the bounds. This proves that these Democrats are lawless.
I do know that the only thing that has prevented us from falling into a constitutional crisis has been our judiciary. And Bondi's assertion today and her arrest of Judge Dugan was a signal to the judiciary that you had better stay out of our way because this authoritarian regime is going to continue doing what it's doing. But I do.
Oh, my goodness. She's calling President Trump's administration an authoritarian regime. Where's she been at the last 4 years? You know how I'm constantly saying the Democrats, this is your left, right? The Democrats on your left. The Democrats, they'll do something over here. They do all this crazy stuff. Like they do Luigi, right? Luigi going to the streets of New York and they do all this crazy stuff. And Luigi does something on New York, in the streets of New York. And then the Democrats, they celebrate him because what Luigi did. This is just an example of doing the lawlessness in this country. Luigi does something, criminal activity, and the Democrats, they celebrate it. They love him. And then what they end up doing is they'll say, oh, look, this is your right. You're right. Oh, see, President Trump's on the right over here. Okay. Here's a great description. Here's a great, right? Here on your left, they do all this criminal activity. Luigi. Y'all remember Luigi? And then on the right, we have President Trump. And then they're pointing the finger saying, oh, my goodness, President Trump, look what he's doing. He's going to do all of this criminal activity, all this damage. And the only reason why people believe it, stupid liberals believe it, is because they actually seeing it happen. They're watching it unfold. People like Luigi go on the streets of New York and they do this criminal activity and then they point the finger and say, oh, Trump is going to do it. Look how they weaponize the justice system against President Trump. Letitia James, Fonnie Willis, Fat Alvin Braggs in Florida. Look at all of the things that they did against President Trump. And then they turn around and say, oh, look what President Trump is trying to do with the justice system. And the only reason why they believe it again, and I'm trying to make sure I explain this where people understand this. The only reason why people, the left, believe it because they see it actually taking place, but they're going like this. So they believe it because, oh yeah, they already know it's happening in the back of their mind. They know it's happening, but they don't want Trump to do it, but it's okay for them to do it. Am I explaining that, Shannon? Because I've been trying to explain that for the longest. I hope that I'm explaining that because that's what's happening here. Yeah. That's exactly what's happening here. And I don't know how else to explain it. And I'm pretty sure other people are seeing it too, but I'm hoping I'm able to explain it to where people understand what I'm trying to relay here. Because President Trump is not doing it. The radical left is doing it. President Trump is not doing criminal activity. The radical left is doing it. President Trump is wanting to get rid of the criminal element in the United States of America, but the left, they're wanting the criminal element here. And then they turn around and say, President Trump's the criminal. If the Democrats truly love, like they say, criminals, right? They label President Trump a criminal. So what am I missing? You know what it is? You know what it is? They call President Trump a criminal when he's not a criminal. And the actual criminals, they don't want to call them criminals. They don't want to call them criminals. Listen to this.
One of the issues that Donald Trump is really under the water, probably his worst issue, is the Maryland man who is in El Salvador right now. It's something that...
Maryland man?
He is a Maryland man.
Come on.
What I will tell you
is an El Salvadoran citizen. He is not a Maryland man. He is an illegal immigrant living in this country illegally for 14 years.
Whatever you want to say, Scott. But the American
this
people...
This is why the polling is the way it is, because we're lying. We're lying.
We're not lying. The American
Scott,
people...
the peace orders were in Maryland. He was beating his wife.
The American...
Even though they have been saying that about him for weeks, that is not penetrating, and Americans are just misled, and that's why they don't like how Trump has handled this.
He has been saying that for weeks. And what has the entirety of the national news media been saying? He's a Maryland man. He's a mild-mannered suburban father. We have lied our rear ends off about this case. He is a El Salvador illegal immigrant. He came to the country 14 years ago illegally. There is a ton of evidence that he is involved in gang activity. There is a ton of evidence that he was involved in human trafficking.
There's a ton of evidence. Overwhelming evidence. And again, the Democrats don't care because they don't see criminal activity as something negative. They see it as positive. All of this crazy stuff going on in the world today, I truly believe this is happening because we're in the last days. I mean, it's so blatant. I mean, it's like right in your face. Help me out. Am I wrong? Make it make sense. And they push this propaganda. Oh, he's the Maryland man. Dun, 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 Maryland man. Really? See, just like they don't want to call them illegal immigrants, unauthorized immigrants is what the Democrats refer to them, or either just undocumented. And we're talking about hardcore criminals, right? Again, these people here, hardcore criminals, but the Democrats go, oh, they're just undocumented or they're unauthorized. They don't, and on MSDNC, CNN, ABC, CBS, the entire Alphabet Network Soup Group, I'm subject to believe that they all got the memo not to say the word illegal. They all got the memo because they don't want to call these criminals illegals. Don't want to say it. And for the most part, they don't want to call them criminals. They want to call him the Maryland man, like he has a cape on or something.
It does sound like that. Like,
yeah, the Maryland man. What?
Like Superman?
Yes. You know, the Maryland man. So you have Superman, which is a good guy, DC comic.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, Aquaman. And then you got the Maryland man, which is on the bad side. I mean, really. You can't make it up.
You really can't.
You can't make it up. And it's all to push propaganda. All to push propaganda. Like, here's another prime example of them pushing propaganda. So President Trump, he gets on the airplane, Air Force One. He flies over to the Vatican. And why is he over at the Vatican? They got the memo that everybody needs to wear black. And the radical left, what do? Yeah. They take a picture and they crop the picture. This is what you call propaganda. And then see, look, this, you know what irks me about this so much? Is that these leftist organizations put this crap on Facebook, and Facebook says nothing about it. If I put something on there and they deem it to be misleading or false information, the third-party fake fact checker will kick in the gear, and then Facebook will penalize me. How was this not fake information?
It is fake information.
They purposely cropped it, people. Have you seen this?
Yeah. It says the Vatican asked Pope Francis funeral attendees to wear all black. Trump wore a blue suit, right? So they're criticizing Trump for wearing a blue suit. But guess what? Trump is not the only person that wore a blue suit.
Bruh.
In fact, Will.
Bruh. I mean, come on.
Look at four people. The fourth person up from Trump. Who is that?
I can't tell. It's too small for me.
That's President Biden wearing blue.
That's Biden?
He's wearing blue suit.
And Biden's in blue?
Yeah.
But they didn't crop the picture with Biden?
Nope. Can I get
Bruh.
it in? Look. Let me see if I can get it. See? Do you see Joe Biden?
Oh, yeah.
With Jill?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, he's wearing blue, everybody. What a terrible person.
Ooh.
Joe Biden is too. And then the sad thing is, though, Will, is then idiots, Democrats, will see that, right?
And they run with it.
And they run with it. This person right here on X said, Punk ASSB seriously wore a straight up blue suit to the Pope's funeral. Why wasn't he escorted out?
And how many people viewed it? It shows
109,000 views.
109,000 views.
He's not the only one that shared it and wrote something like that.
109,000 views for a BS lie.
But I don't think anybody even talked about Joe Biden wearing a blue suit too. In fact,
that's the first time you mentioned. That's the first time I heard about
until I looked at it. But if you zoom out, there's so many people wearing blue suits.
I mean, there's a lot of blue.
Yeah.
There's a lot of blue. See, this is the point. And the same thing with the Maryland man. Same thing with the Maryland man. He's MS-13, but they don't want to call him that. They want to call him the Maryland man. Like some superhero, or he's a nice guy. Propaganda. And I'm kind of surprised, Shannon, that the radical left didn't come out and say this is AI generated. This is the AI generated picture, not the other one. This one. To put some people in blue. And there's a lot of people in there I've never even seen before.
Well, there's plenty of pictures now that you can see that there's a lot of people there that were wearing blue. Trump wasn't the only one. But you know what? At other funerals, who freaking cares? They're all there to mourn, the Vatican, the Pope. Showing their condolences.
But it's just the whole point.
I know.
It's just the whole point that they cropped the daggone picture.
They lie about everything.
Yeah.
And knowing whoever cropped that knew full well that Joe Biden was wearing blue.
But it's been multiple leftist organizations
that made a big deal about
putting that whole thing out there.
Yeah.
Oh, look what as if did they not verify it before they put it out there?
It was all over Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, did they not verify it before they put it out there?
They don't.
I mean, just think about that, everybody.
Matter if they verified it? They don't care. As long as they have that little crop where they could say how terrible Trump is, they don't care what the rest of the people.
They will come after
they could all
me.
Be wearing blue.
They come after me constantly. Trying to say that they used to. They would come after me constantly trying to say that I was putting out misleading information. My YouTube channel that I'm on right now, I had lost it for about 3.5 years, right? Right after President Trump in 2020. I lost they took my YouTube channel away. And they said because I was putting out misleading medical advice. And I've never claimed to be a doctor. Never claimed to be a doctor. But it's just a point that they put crap out like this and nothing happens to them. Like, no, they justify putting out this factual propaganda, actual propaganda. They justify it as something that is okay for them to do because they hate Trump. If it's something that we can make Trump look bad, then they're like, go ahead and do it. And they all work together. They're all in cahoots with one another to push out the propaganda. Like, let me give you another example. Let me give you another example of the propaganda here. Have you seen this propagandist? This is one of the biggest propagandists in the news industry. One of the biggest. She's not the biggest. She's right up there with all of them. She's probably just tied with the ones that are at the very top. But look at this. From 2023, 2024, 2025, each year. And this is talking about judges.
Nobody's above the law. We only have one system of law for everyone. Nothing about being an elected official gives you a license to commit crimes or a license to get away with it if you do. Why step up politically and defend a judge or a prosecutor? That's supposed to be a non-political part of our system. It's not like we didn't know it was going to be terrible. And it is terrible. He really did have a judge arrested today. arresting a judge today. Are you kidding me?
What a hypocrite. What a hypocrite. Oh, you know what? Because it's the liberal judge. Personally, if a judge is ever caught ruling based on political opinion, that judge should be removed immediately. I don't care if they're conservative, Democrat. I don't care. They should be removed immediately if they rule based on political views. A lot of cases, judges, they will throw out cases that are politically motivated because they don't want to get involved with it. They're like, nope, this is politically motivated, not taking it up. A lot of cases get thrown out. And I learned this when I was in California because there was this radical leftist trying to take conservatives to court constantly. Constantly. I remember she tried to take this one lady to court. The lady lived in Sacramento, and this other liberal, I don't know where she lived, but she was trying to take this other lady to court for political dispute, end up in court, and the judge says, oh, this is political, throwing it out. Of course, the left, this was in California. See, even leftist judges, they know, like, nope, this is political, don't want to take it up. But there are some radical leftist judges that will take up political cases or will become activists because they hate Trump. Because they hate Trump. They've done it so much. They've demonstrated. Well, I want y'all to listen to this one. This is Tom Homan, and he's up here with Carolyn Levitt at a press conference, and they're talking about all of these illegals. And, of course, the Democrats, they want to defend them. They're constantly screaming, due process, not for you, the American people, but for those who came into the country breaking the law. They came in breaking the law, but hey, we need to give them due process. And of course, the Democrats are using this to prolong them getting exported back out, deported. That's the only reason why they're talking about due process. Because when it comes to the American people, they don't care.
New media seat today, as always, Rogan O'Hanley, former Hollywood entertainment lawyer, I didn't know that, Rogan, who got fed up with the far left ideologies of California and now posts conservative political commentary online for his more than 7 million followers across all major platforms. He joins us today from the great state of Florida. Why don't you kick us off today, Rogan?
Thank you, Caroline. In Trump's first 99 days, we've seen a coordinated assault on the rule of law by radical judges. We're thwarting his agenda with an unprecedented number of national injunctions. These judges are providing more due process to violent MS-13 and Tren de Aragua illegal aliens than they did for American citizens who peacefully protested on January 6th. As Stephen Miller has highlighted, it would be utterly ridiculous to have full trials and appeals for the more than 15 million illegal aliens that came across our border under Joe Biden. Many are now calling for Trump to circumvent these radical judges and consider suspending the writ of habeas corpus solely for these illegal aliens in accordance with the terms of Article 1, Section 9 of the United States Constitution, which explicitly allows for such a measure when there is a rebellion or invasion. There are strong...
So, I mean, you hearing this? I like the fact that he brought that up. I like the fact that he brought up how people on J6 did not receive due process. I like the fact that he brought that up. And then I don't know if you notice it, but when he said that, he looked over at the press. He looked at the media. And none of it's like it doesn't register with any. I'm like, we don't know what he's talking about. We have no idea, no clue what he's talking about. Hey, let me say thank you to Filter Dog on Peel.net for the gold pills. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. All right. Let me go to another one because we're going to run out of time. I got so much I want to share with you on these. Here's another one. There's the judge. There's the radical activist leftist judge that was trying to help the illegal escape ICE custody. Listen to what they're saying on the Communist News Network. See, they're just proving everything that I say about them. And I get people sending me messages saying, Will Johnson, you're lying. You're lying. What am I lying about? I mean, really? And I asked him, I said, can you give me an example of what I'm lying about? Look, I'm talking and I'm telling you what they're doing.
It's rare that you can get a liberal on the street to tell you, answer a direct question.
It don't happen.
They never have answers.
It doesn't happen. I mean, and a lot of these liberals are, they get behind their keyboard. They get behind their keyboard. Oh, Will Johnson, you're lying. You're lying.
There was one person that was trolling Will this weekend. She was going to all the posts calling him a jerk.
Yeah. Yeah. She called me a jerk, everybody. I mean, and what was my reaction to it, Shannon?
You laugh as always.
I'm like, I don't really, I don't care.
She told you.
Yeah, she told me. She told me, didn't she?
But it's also not a, it's not an unreasonable complaint. There's plenty of evidence in the complaint to get you beyond the probable cause phase, which is where we are right now. And I think when you start looking at how the judge was treated after the events that led to the charge, so where and when and how she was arrested, and the fact that she was arrested at the courthouse rather than her own residence.
Really? The crime was committed at the courthouse, not at her residence. See what it is? If you're going to arrest a corrupt judge, you need to do it in the dark of night. You need to do it where no one knows about it, where no one sees it, where you can deny it. It's not supposed to be made to be a spectacle to send a message out to the rest of these radical judges that are getting in the way of what President Trump is doing. And let me say this too, really quick before I go back to this. All of these other leftist activist judges that have done these lawsuits against President Trump, what do they call them? These Holt orders. They should be arrested as well.
Injunctions.
The injunctions.
Yeah.
They should be arrested as well. You know why? You know why? Because they're aiding and abetting these hardcore criminals. Just because the criminal wasn't in their courtroom, they're going across state lines and saying, President Trump, you cannot deport these MS-13 members. You can't do it. So they're helping the criminals. They should be arrested as well. I want, you know what? They call President Trump a dictator. I mean, let's go. Let them say it. They're going to say it if President Trump is not a dictator. And they'll say it when President Trump is not a dictator. They're going to say it regardless. Regardless.
The fact that she was placed in a jail cell for hours before her arraignment was called in the court later in the afternoon. These things are unprecedented. Typically upstanding members of the community who have no criminal history and aren't accused of a violent act.
Okay. Is it precedent that they took a mugshot of President Trump? Is it? Is it precedent that they raided President Trump's home not once but twice? Is it precedent that President Trump, they found him guilty for 34 counts on a charge that's never been charged on anyone in the history of this nation? They did it because they had a radical judge and, of course, the radical leftist jury. I mean, really, this judge actually breaks the law, and you don't want them to uphold the law against this judge. Is anyone else seeing what's happening here? Listen to him.
Act or later in the afternoon. These things are unprecedented. Typically, upstanding members of the community who have no criminal history and aren't accused of a violent act are allowed to self-surrender at the time of their arraignment. The fact that they did not offer that courtesy to her and instead went out of their way to treat her harshly, I believe is an act of performative cruelty on behalf of the Department of Justice, which is not the way any Department of Justice should be acting.
Wow, Shannon. There's such cruelty against a judge that broke the law. Such cruelty.
I mean,
she was so embarrassed. Now, did you see the video footage of her leaving? I think was it the FBI building, or it was a courthouse? It was someplace. The courthouse where she ran out and jumped in the vehicle. Don't want to take any questions. She broke the law.
Yeah. They were upset because they detained her at the courthouse. But you know what? That's where the crime was at. So, you know what? Listen, precedent goes out the door these days because what used to be is no longer. These are activist judges working on the behalf of activists and the Democrats. If they had done what he said, if they gave her a chance to go home, find out that they were going to do this, surrender, do you not think that the Democrats would have taken advantage of that and would have made her into some kind of a martyr type person? Yep. They would have been like, oh my gosh, she's turning herself in today. They probably would have had all these people down there cheering for her and everything. Oh no, we're not going to give you that opportunity to play off of this. You broke the crime. I mean, you did the crime. You're not going to have mercy these days. People know she knew what she was doing. Absolutely, she knew what she was doing. Does she have any reverence for the law? No, she didn't. So we're not going to be nicer. She's a judge. I'm sorry. I think it's even harsher for a judge that knows better and thinks that she's above the law.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah. And that's, you know what? That's exactly what should happen. That's exactly what she should be made a spectacle. Yep. And she should have to go to jail for breaking the law.
Set the precedent. No more.
Stop doing it.
Yeah. And we're
all they have to do is put out the memo and say, look. You gotta
stop doing it. We're not going to give anybody the opportunity to turn it into something else. Right? Yeah. We're not going to make her into a martyr for the Democrat Party. That's what they do. That's what they're doing to this.
They're still trying to turn her into one
in El Salvador, huh?
They're actually still trying to turn her into one. When I was at the Tesla event this past weekend, there was people out there that were holding signs in support of this radical judge. There were signs out there. There were actually there's video of a lot of people at the courthouse where they arrested her in support of her.
She's innocent.
Yeah, like she's innocent.
Oh my goodness.
I mean,
these people are so ignorant. They literally are ignorant.
Well, I want y'all to listen to Shucky Ducky Schumer. Remember Shucky Ducky Schumer, Shannon? When he went after Brett Kavanaugh. You remember that?
Oh yeah.
Brett Kavanaugh didn't even break any laws. All he did, the Supreme Court ruled in favor of life. Remember that? And he's saying, Brett Kavanaugh, how did he say it? You're gonna get hit with a whirlwind, or I forget exactly how the nut job said it. Listen. Here we go.
They're trying to intimidate judges. This is not the first time or the second. They've said they want to impeach judges. They said they're going to go after judges who don't agree with them. That is so against the Constitution. What Trump, Biondi, and the whole Justice Department are trying to do is push that judge, threaten that judge, so the judge is no longer impartial. It is outrageous. You cannot have a democracy without an independent judiciary, and they're trying to clip the wings of that independence.
And they're taking away fundamental rights. I want to tell you, Gorsuch, I want to tell you, Kavanaugh, you have released the whirlwind, and you will pay the price. You won't know what hit you if you go forward with these awful decisions.
Wow. What a hypocrite. What a hypocrite. And they didn't take anybody's rights away. All they did was push it back to the states. And all these Democrats kept saying, well, majority of the American people want the most innocent of us all to be eliminated in the womb. They kept saying it. Well, they know that's not true. Majority of us believe that we all should have a chance in and out of the womb. But these Democrats, they don't. And they were upset about it. It's like Satan. I'm like, Satan, because Satan is their actual leader. Satan is their actual leader, and Satan, got them all to get worked up and say, you need to go out and fight for this because they're taking away the capabilities of me being able to end the most innocent of us all. What are you going to say?
The sad thing is they're not acting independently.
No.
They're acting selfishly. They're saying, I feel, therefore I'm doing this. They're not caring about what the constitutional law says, that these people are illegals. And talk about due process. She knew that the people were waiting for him all day in that courtroom for him to be in court, and she knew that they were going to be taken into custody, and so she hit them on purpose, helped them try to escape ICE. That's against the law. Homan has completely repeated the violation over and over and over. And then he has the audacity, that guy has the audacity to say, well, I don't really think this is what do you call it? Not hoarding, but
not what?
Where you're protecting him, hiding him.
Harboring.
Harboring, thank you. The word. Yeah. They said this isn't harboring.
That's exactly what it was.
She was hiding him in her courtroom before she helped him get out.
They said that she helped him out at the side door.
Right.
To evade ICE. And ICE had to go chase him down the street. He was just in the courtroom. All she had to say was, bailiff, turn him over. That's all she had to do. But she took it upon herself because it's her courtroom. It's her courtroom.
No, it's not her courtroom.
And she took it upon herself because it's her courtroom.
She has a job there.
Of course. But the Democrats go, it's her courtroom. If she want to do a certain thing in her courtroom, she can. If she wants to allow illegals to escape ICE, she can. That's why she's going to jail right now. Is she still in the jail cell right now? Did she post bail? Did she do a GoFundMe?
Oh, I'm sure she's out.
Did she do a GoFundMe? I'm just kind of curious, right? Well, here's some of the footage where they're all outside the courthouse. These radical Democrats, again, not fighting for justice. They're out here fighting for criminal activity, the lawlessness. That's what they support.
I hear these people chanting no justice, no peace. Let's not forget this person, Mr. Rees, committed 2 crimes. He entered the United States illegally. Well, I don't know about the second crime. He's in court there today for domestic violence charge, okay? So it's not like he's there because he's an upstanding citizen. Somebody brought charges against the guy to show up in court for allegedly domestic, hitting somebody in some circumstance. So 2 strikes against the guy to begin with. The judge in this case knows what's going on, sees the ICE officials in the back. To Ellie's point, makes the conscious decision, I'm going to break the law. I'm going to break the law. And let me just make it clear. This president was elected overwhelmingly to seal the border and close down immigration loopholes. We had a poll recently, Harry put out, 60% of Americans today want to deport every one of the 11 million plus illegal aliens. They want to deport them. So for Trump, for the Trump administration politically, winner, winner, chicken dinner, every time you get somebody in this case, this judge, there's that, remember when the Colombian president had did the plane shuffle and then Trump put out the tweet with the face and the FAFO? Same tweet here today.
Same thing here. FAFO. And she found out. I wonder if there are going to be any other radical judges, activist judges, that's going to try to attempt to do the same thing. But if they do, I think they're going to probably try to be a little bit more prepared this time. They'll probably try to even evade arrest. They'll probably disappear a little bit. I'm just guessing. I don't know. What do you think? But even all these judges, just like I mentioned already, that's already done this criminal activity, every last one of them should be arrested. I think President Trump should round them all up. They already call him a dictator when he's not a dictator. And President Trump arresting him doesn't make him a dictator. It means that he is upholding the law. He is sticking to the mandate that we the people gave him. If these radical judges continue to get in the way of President Trump for getting rid of the criminal element, these judges are criminals. They're criminals themselves. Arrest them all. Arrest them all. Then if the judges are not criminals, then stop doing it. Allow President Trump to do his job that we the people put him in the White House to do. But see, it's always these radical leftists, especially white judges, and the black ones are in there too. They all believe that they know what's best for us. If they could go and reverse what happened in November of 2024, they would. If they could go reverse it. They would, if they could go and say the American people didn't realize what they were voting for So because they didn't realize it, we're going to change it. And there's a whole bunch of stupid liberals out there. They thought that was going to happen. A whole bunch of them thought it was going to happen. Oh, it's just a matter of time. And it's almost like the reverse of what happened in 2020, because a lot of radical liberals, because you had all of these woke generals in the military, they were saying that these woke generals are going to step up and stop Trump. There was a lot of conservatives. Remember the whole Q thing? I never followed it. People got upset with me because I didn't follow it. They all kept saying that the military is going to step in. Remember? Y'all remember? And guess what? Military never stepped in. The only thing the military stepped into was more crap. That's the only thing that they stepped into. Because then they started putting dresses on military men. That's the only thing that they stepped into, a dress. And just like now, they kept these radical liberals going, they're all over TikTok. Oh, the military is going to step in and stop Trump. The military is going to step in and stop Trump. Really? And this is part of the reason why they're upset with Pete Hegseth. Did you know they're still going after Pete Hegseth over the Signal app? They're still trying to go after him. And when Pete Hegseth got in that position, his laptop, his cell phone, they already had the app installed on the devices. They were already installed. Multiple personnel use the app. There's nothing there. They're fishing. They're still trying. Trump needs to fire Pete Hegseth. And the reason being is because they want these woke generals there to be able to do the bidding of the shadow government, a.k.a. the deep state. That's the only reason. That's the only reason. All right, everybody. We are just about 2 minutes out. Can I get everyone to go to my website? And I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you. Can we show it on? Is it still up there, Shannon? So if you go to my website, right here, uniteamericanfirst.com, my producer, she put this message out there about us contacting our congressmen and women, about the Republicans, to tell them to get something lit up under their butt, to get them to go out there and fight against what the Democrats are doing. Pass a stinking bill, Republicans. I think the only bill that they have passed was the Lake and Raleigh, right? Someone reminded me last week.
Right.
That's the only one. There might, if there's some more, I mean, by all means, help me out.
And the CO, I mean, the continuation.
Yeah, but people, every single executive order that President Trump has done, there should have been a bill immediately to come up on the House.
Yep.
So my producer, she put this information on my website, uniteamericanfirst.com, for the phone numbers for you to call, and like a script, a brief description of, for like a guideline, just something for you to go with. But you see that ad right there in the middle? My producer, she never puts ads right here in the middle.
Right, because you can go to Google AdSense and add ads in certain areas.
She can go to Google AdSense and add an ad. Listen to this.
But I didn't add this. This was added literally by Google. I just went here and I'm like, how did this pop up here? It actually won't even let me get rid of it. So somehow...
And it won't let you remove it?
Huh?
And it won't let you remove it?
I didn't create it, so I don't even know how they put it there.
And they never put ads like that in the middle of anything.
They never put ads in the middle of articles and stuff like that. I have to do it. No, I have to, take the initiative to go in our back end office and do it. But they put this one here in the middle of the script. Now,
and some people, I can see it right now, Shannon.
Huh?
Let me just say this really quick. Some people are saying, Will Johnson, why do you have Google AdSense on your website? Right? Well, I have Google AdSense on there because Google dominates the ad space.
Well, Google owns YouTube too. So
they
if you're
dominate
on YouTube and you want to talk about Google,
they dominate the ad space.
They do.
And I'm just look. Wait a minute. Look,
there's a lawsuit.
Facebook has taken my income away completely, and because of what the hackers did to me on Facebook. I didn't do any of it. I told they're fully aware of the hackers, and I personally believe it's an inside job. But nonetheless, they've taken my, people can't even give me stars. And a star on Facebook equals a penny. A penny. They won't allow people to give me a single star on Facebook. So this is part of the reason why. So I have to try to make some kind of income. I mean, I hope you understand this. I mean, do you want me to quit? But so this is the reason why I have it on there, because I know somebody's saying it. Unless you know of another way for me to try to make some income with my website, by all means, send me the email. Don't send me the email asking me why you have it on there. I just told you why it's on there.
Yeah, but the interesting part is Google took their own initiative to put this here.
But they put that in there.
So
because I've actually been telling a lot of people about this on my website, UnitedAmericaFirst.com. There's the information right there. So they didn't put it on top of it. They just squeezed that ad in between it to try to disrupt it. Yeah, but it's the biggest
writing there. It's white. And so some people, I hate to say it, but some people that aren't really
they're going to go and it says click here.
They're going to say, they're going to go,
continue.
Oh, click here.
They're going to say, oh, look, click here to continue. And it has nothing to do with it.
Saying, Will, I clicked on it.
So Shannon, see if you can. So if you can, see if you can remove this or reshape this on the front page to see if you can remove the ad that way.
Yeah, actually, I'll take the section down and
look. I'm going to remove it. We're going to remove it.
Yeah.
So maybe you can do it with a picture instead of just doing text on the website. Create a picture with all the information. So then they can't put an ad on top of the picture.
Oh, actually, that's a really good idea.
Do that. We're going to do that.
Okay, I can do that.
We're going to do that.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay, y'all understand, right? Y'all understand I got to try to make a living here. Like on YouTube, no one participated, and it's fine.
But bigger than that.
And like on YouTube, I did a goal, asked people to help me out with my, like a goal, and no one participated, and that's fine. I mean, a lot of people don't want to do the super chats. This past Saturday, people did bless me with super chats, but on peel.net, like I said, Filter Dog blessed me with some, and other people, So en route was at Rita66. Thank you so much on peel.net, and no one on Rumble, and it's fine. But so you got to understand that people, I got to try to make a living some kind of way. So don't be mad at me for doing it. It's just interesting that they did that. They're interested that they did. They've never done it before.
The sad thing with doing a picture is people can't copy paste, so they'll have to type it.
They
themselves.
put it right there where the message when you call in. I mean, that's rich.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're gonna put it as a picture. We'll put it as a picture. All right, everybody, that's it for me. Go to my website, sign up for that free newsletter as well. Sign up for the free newsletter on my website if I can get it out. UnitedAmericaFirst.com. God bless everyone. See you on the flip side.